Hello, welcome to Hotline FN, the live call-in show for your hot takes, bold predictions, and unpopular opinions surrounding the competitive Fortnite scene. This is Hotline FN's 30th episode. That's a big milestone. That's older than me. I mean, that qualifies for the Boomer Cup. Surely someone get a hold of Amplify, whatever LaFi it is that does that, because we got to get Hotline FN competing. It's of age. Fantastic. We've got an excellent show, hopefully. We don't plan out a lot of this ahead of time, as you know, because it is a call-in show. The way to get engaged with this is to type !Hotline FN into the Twitch chat. That'll get you a link to the Discord where you can submit your hot take, bold prediction, or unpopular opinion. Not a question and answer show. Not a, hey, what do you think show? We want to know what you think, and then we're going to talk about it. So that being said, let's jump right in with our phenomenal panel today. We've got Balla TW and our man Shyowager. What's up, guys?
Yo. Dude, we got so much to talk about today. Like,
dude,
literally so much.
Yeah. Shyo is going to bring the Foley sound effects today. Can we get a galloping horse, Shyo?
Yay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, pretty good. Totally.
It's Hungarian, so yeah.
Hungarian. That's the sound that Hungarian horses make when they gallop.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Well, it's been a couple weeks. Balla, what have you been up to?
Besides finishing stuff, I kind of took a chill week, bro. I've been working a couple videos, which are going very slow. I did a thing with Pro Guys today, which was pretty fun. Besides that, I've been playing Valorant. I've been playing Fortnite in the distance, watching myself, not streaming it at all, just kind of chilling off of the camera for a bit. I think this might be the first day that I've done something on camera since broadcasts last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So
yeah, definitely. I also took a pretty I casted way less than you did by a huge margin, and I was so burnt out. I was like, I'm ready to nap for a very long time, and I did. And now here we are, another episode of Hotline a couple weeks later. Shyo, what have you been up to, man? I swear to God, if you say Valorant.
No. My life currently is a Jenga game, right? The first part, setup, baby. So this entire week, I've had more meetings than I've ever had in my entire career as a streamer or caster. Obviously, you've seen one of the announcements finally come through for one of the things that are being announced in my life, but we got I think 3 more coming this month. So we're going to be setting up some fun stuff, some cool stuff, some grand stuff. And then just getting my life organized this week. So this is also one of the weeks where I don't have a lot of personal streams, even though I had time. I think just the broadcast ending for a bit, I took it back a little bit, played some FPS games that are diffusal based with the characters and abilities. And then tonight, man, it was a ranked Valorant grind, but we also had a good morning with some cool announcements that we'll be for sure talking about in this episode.
All right. Dope. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I mean, we've got, Balla, you said it right off the top. We got a ton to talk about.
yeah.
As the topics, begin to roll in here, we've got to fill some time. So do you guys want to start with Cash Cups? You want to start with FNCS? You want to start with the slew of communication we had today? You want to start with the patch notes we got? Oh, what's happening here? I'm the host. Damn it. Okay, let's talk about. I got a bone to pick. Let's talk about patch notes, guys. Let's talk about patch notes. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a take. I'm the caller. All right, I want to hear what you have to say. I'm the caller.
Here we go.
Hey, Balla and Shyo, I love you guys so much, and oh my God, Tim is so sexy. Anyway, so I think it's pretty fucked up that you have to earn the right to get patch notes. I think that's pretty stupid that you have to make epic money before they're willing to communicate with you about changes to the game. So that's my take. What do you guys think?
I forgot to ask, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is TimSexyBeast42069. And I'm calling from Toronto.
New Jersey, right? New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm in Dirty Jersey.
I think that the supported creator patch notes is it is weird. I don't know why they chose to communicate that way. Maybe they were hoping that there would be slightly more thoughtful responses or statements to start. Like people who might think a little bit more than react. in that sense, because I think that's one of the reasons they took out patch notes in the first place was the reactions that they would get right off the bat. Like, oh, there's no they nerfed this. Well, I'm not playing the patch. Like they took this out. Oh, I'm not playing this patch. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why they took it out in the first place. So I think it might be a step closer to obviously what we want, which is patch notes. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about getting patch notes in the first place, even though it wasn't. But it was honestly kind of better in some cases because it had some explanation on what it was, besides just like we did this, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reasoning. I just don't think that it actually works with supported creator how it is, right? You can't just release because everybody has a code. Like it feels like everybody has a code.
Yeah, a ton of people have codes. Yeah, it's like 1,000 followers on any platform is the cutoff point, which isn't necessarily hard, but not everyone like. Yeah, I agree. I would rather have it than nothing, but it does feel weird, and like the implicit message just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Of like, yeah, I mean, if you don't have 1,000 followers, if you don't make content for our game, we're not going to send you this. We're not going to give you the down low.
There's a reason. There's a reason. Like I agree with Balla in the fact that like the reason the notes themselves were kind of cryptic was because you don't want to release the full details and have that type of rebound or rubber band reaction. But I think the reason that a lot of creators got them is because this is probably the introduction of getting these notes back to the community again. Everyone checks Twitter anyways, and to have a positive change come from a lot of creators at the same time, that's outreach, like immediately, right? It's a little bit more personable as well. A lot of these one-off players who honestly don't have creator codes at this point, you know, there are obviously outliers like you, Tim, like a lot of people who are heavily invested, but they're more so they're usually not as interested and as skeptical compared to like they kind of like reverberate or have a hive mind reaction to what their creator says. So if the creator is getting a personal note that they can put over to their community and it's positive, and this is the start of patch notes, and they get better after this, that's dope. If they only come to creators time and time again and are this cryptic, I feel like we have stepping or road bumps between our steps and our roads.
Yeah.
Like I think they need to get better, but I feel like this rollout was very smart from a marketing perspective, and the patch notes themselves being that cryptic but having a general sense of what they are was a very smart decision as well.
Yeah, I think that in their situation, from the position you're arguing, like I agree. I disagree though that I don't know, it's a common thread people like to throw out as a, sort of like a defense of any change, you know, like everyone should be grateful Epic has done so much for esports. But the patch notes situation is a regression, right? Like them not sharing patch notes in an online game is a regression, right? Like we fought hard to get that kind of communication from developers in every game, right? To the point where it's expected in games, period. And then especially in esports. So it's just it's annoying. Like I agree. Like I hope that this is a signal of it being rolled out more completely in the future. You know, I'd still rather have this than nothing. But it's not like, you know, it's still worse than where it should be.
It's just a start. I feel like when they fully come out and they're like this, once again, these are not patch notes. You know what I mean? Like these are just letters of intent, I guess. Like this is just a good start. It's good to build the hype. I think that's all they were trying to do. After this, we'll actually get patch notes. It'll be nice.
Okay. All right. Do we want to talk more about the contents of those, or are we ready for a caller?
We got a caller ready if you want.
Let's do it. Bring him in.
It's not necessarily patch notes related, but let's drag him in.
Well, we got time. We'll mix and match it all up. Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sorley, and I am from NA West.
Yo, what's up, Sorley? NA West represent. I know Shyo likes to masquerade, but he's still an East boy at heart. What do you want to talk about tonight?
I mean, is it Shyo or is it a 12-year-old kid? I'm not sure.
All right.
Let's go.
Now. It starts now.
First
I already saw people memeing in the chat about it, so.
This is good.
But more seriously, my topic is that basically the competitive announcement, which really was just a thread on Twitter that, I mean, probably lots of people in the comp scene didn't even see, doesn't mean shit, basically. Like, I'm, like, to be fair, like, well, okay, I'll start with this. I'm happy as anyone else that we have a competitive roadmap, right? That we have a guaranteed thing from Epic saying this is what we're doing for the rest of the year and even into the year after. But it, like Shyo said, it's basically like a letter of intent. It's not a competitive blog. It's not patch notes. Yes, it's good, but it's only a small step in the right direction. Way more shit needs to happen. Like the game needs to be balanced properly. Server reliability needs to be fixed. More third-party tools. I saw your in one of your reactions, Balla, to the thread on Twitter. One of the things you said is that it's great that they want to support third-party tournaments and such, but they need to actually do more and implement more things into the game. So my thing is, yeah, it's all great. I'm really happy they tweeted this out, but they need to actually do things to show. They
Thanks,
need to
Sorta.
basically put their money where their mouth is, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that you kind of surmised my viewpoint. You know, I mean, if we want to go into all the negatives about Fortnite, we can listen to the last episode of Hotline FN, which was in general a pretty like a bummer, right? Like we don't have to sugarcoat it. Do us a bummer.
Episode. I mean, I think in every episode there's been.
Hey, did you just call my episodes a bummer? Balla, what do you think about this topic?
Oh my god.
I agree and I disagree, because I think this is the most communication we've gotten at a single point in anything, and I think it addressed a lot of our concerns about Comp Fortnite and the longevity of Comp Fortnite. But I don't think that it's like, it's not bad. Obviously, it's good. You're right though, that there's a lot of things that still need to be changed, but I don't think that this is not a turning point, is basically where you're going with this. And I disagree with that, because I think that just the sheer fact that broadcasts are back kind of shows that, like, it is a turning point. They've turned the perception.
That is an action, not just
internally at
words.
Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is an action, and it says that we think that it's valuable for us to do this, and we agree with your feedback that's been, let's get these broadcasts going. And on top of that, there's this whole FNCS Invitational thing, which is also a drastic shift in terms of what we've done in the past, right? And I think that with the success of this, if it does well, it could mean that we might get more of these down the line too. So I think there's actions here that indicate a turn of the page, at least, especially with the communication. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a blog post or a Twitter post. You're right that not everybody's going to see this, but it's the same thing with a blog post, right? Not everybody's going to see a blog post. In fact, I would say that possibly even on Twitter, it's going to generate more buzz, because it's just going to have more likes, retweets, and engagement than it does on the website.
Yeah.
But I agree that this is only a step. This is only a step. And with the history of them, we're gonna take a couple steps back after this, boys. Like, we just got a ton of good. Got a ton of good.
That's the flip side. Yeah. Sorry, Shane,
I
go
can
for it.
talk on like the three. We could spread apart those 3 points. The first one being that the fact that it's on Twitter is bad. Like, first of all, do you have a Noti gang on for the website? Because last time I checked, every time there's a patch notes change, I hear it from Twitter or from Reddit. I never go directly to the website and stumble on it. You know what I mean? So I think that it's in a good place. Second of all, like, obviously we've been asked, let's analogize this real quick. We've been asking for a building to be made, and we were promised blueprints, right? So we got the blueprints, which is what we were promised. There were good blueprints too. The building will be made. You know what I mean? Like, we will get hopefully these implementations, but we were given and promised the roadmap, and now the map is here. Let's check it out. Let's internalize it. Take a week to see, like, you know, what is the invitational going to look like? How will it relate to how the roadmap's going to play out? You know, World Cup 2021. Like, yo, boys, they said those words. Like, it's not a meme no more. You know what I mean? Like, they've addressed a lot of stuff, and people keep going to the next step. And I understand, right? Like, 80 days of silence, a little bit of PTSD. Like, you want to get to that next step fast, but let's really talk about what the implementations of these are. Let's take a week maybe to internalize it, and let's respect the fact that we got blueprints, we got a roadmap, right? And then ask for more, like, in a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we've fully looked at what we've been offered so far. So I think it's overall good, man. I understand that my man wants to chase the bag, get Fortnite up there, chase the bread, but it'll come, bro. It'll come.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of contention. Sorry, Sorley. I just want to say one more thing. We'll give you a chance to mention here, but it's nothing that has happened in the last 2 weeks is bad, right? Like, these are all great things. These are all, like, or at the very least, good things, right? The issue is just in a lot of people's minds is consistency, right? And like Balla said, It's gonna take a couple more steps before people have that trust. You know what I mean? Well, too many times we've seen, wow, these are great changes, followed immediately by like, what is happening? Like, what is this? This is not great changes, right? So I agree. Be super stoked about the good changes. You know what I mean? If you're jamming in 11.4, like, be stoked about the great changes and speak positively about them constantly. And I don't think it's wrong to also uphold like, I hope that this is going to be a consistent thing. I hope that continues to be good, right? I mean, they acknowledged a willingness to touch aim assist. We could talk all day about whether it was enough, you know, at this given point, but like they did it. Like, that's crazy. That's a great step, right? Like, hell yeah. Sorely,
So,
you got anything to add?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, Balla, I fully agree with you. I don't by any means think that anything that's happened in the last, like, last
24
week,
hours.
last 2 weeks even,
Week.
has been bad. I think it's all. My whole point is that it's a good step. It's all really good things. I'd even argue great things, Tim, better than good. But my point is that it really is only a blueprint, kind of like how Shio described it. And really, Epic they have, well, at least is when it comes to Fortnite, they have a history of not adhering to their blueprints. Like with the mech blog post, and then eventually saying we are not taking the mech out of the game. It's doing exactly what we want it to, and then they just kind of, without even saying anything, take it out later on, right? So
I mean, that was a season change, right? I was about to ask you, what are the examples where they promised something and then followed the other way with it? I'm pretty sure they've promised everything and it's come in a sense. It's just they don't make promise. Name one instance, Balla, because I can't remember.
Stretched. What? Come on.
What do you mean?
yeah,
They said that they were going to support Stretch, and then the next week it's like, never
Okay,
mind.
true. Okay,
yeah, like, there's lots of
That's
stuff.
the
Like,
one.
I can't
Or
think
like in the AMA, they said they were looking into some things,
AMA,
and they said they
true.
would do some things. That didn't happen. I mean,
Yeah.
we can't. Let's not
I feel like from
sugarcoat
this
stuff.
roadmap,
There's
though,
positive
to
and
say
negative.
that-
Servers
they-
and nothing.
Yeah, no competitive events
Alright,
until
yeah.
performance.
My rose
That was
tinted
very.
glasses with
very
we
True.
love you, Shio. We love you.
True.
the beard held the like the long term
Did you actually
memory.
have a point there, Shio? Or
My point was like these promises is kind of like, you know, there's a World Cup in the works. There's multiple FNCSs this year that are going to be back to back to back. Like, these promises aren't like these out of the world, need to do research with and be implemented promises. They're very
Yes.
doable, and I feel like they finally got a grasp on how to talk, and now they're going to walk. You know what I mean? So I feel like these are better promises than before. I don't think they're going to be walked back on it at all.
I don't think there's
No,
any like merit to saying these are better than before just because it happened on Twitter once. But I'm still excited. I always get excited when a good change happens, and I always hope that it continues to be good changes. So here I am, hoping that it will continue to be good changes and being excited about the ones we got. Sorely, thanks so much for bringing this topic, man. I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Yeah, of course. You guys too. Have a good show.
Thanks. Peace
Have a
out.
good one.
Yeah, you have a good time watching our good show. Thank you. Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Taylor. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Welcome back to the hotline,
Somebody.
Taylor. I mean, you could do the whole song. Like, you could take a bar, I'll take a bar.
No, let's
I'm
not do
chilling.
that. Thank you.
I'm big chilling.
We already did the fake voice, Tim. Like, I'm good on the cringe this episode.
Ball is done. Hey, I've never been a part of certain cringeworthy broadcasts, but you can, you know, whatever. What do you want to talk about today, Taylor?
So basically, you know,
Sorry,
positive
Taylor, go
take
for
on-
it.
all good. A positive take on the announcements today. For the first time in, I think, the history of Fortnite, we have a long-term plan, not detailed, but at least a long-term plan that Epic plans to support competitive beyond just the next season. And that is good for not only players, but anyone looking to get involved in the scene, like orgs, viewers, sponsors.
Yeah.
That means people can really reinvest. So we've seen a lot of orgs backing out of Fortnite, and we've even seen players backing out of Fortnite. But I think Spades even today was tweeting that, hey, I may be coming back into Fortnite after seeing all this. And I think orgs are quickly going to be hopping back in, knowing that there's a long-term future.
I think that is a fantastic take and 100% correct. I think that there's, like with everything, there's still ways to go to make orgs feel very confident engaging with Fortnite, because it's still very hard for them to get a return on their investment just because of the way Fortnite esports is laid out so far. But this is like the furthest into the future that we have knowledge of competitive events. I mean, that's like really sparse knowledge. It's just like there's going to be events, but that's still way more than we've had like in any kind of concrete way. I mean, this is just a tweet, but still, like, it's more than we've ever had, right? And it's more, yeah, it's more than we've ever had. I don't know. I'm trying to reword a million ways that I agree. I think that this will reinvigorate engagement, just knowing that a World Cup 2021 is coming from outside sources, like you said, third parties, sponsors, orgs, all of it. Shyo?
In terms of like pros coming back, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And orgs, I'll dive into that for like a hot mini sec. But the players that have left, man, I think it was just burnout in one of the modes that is like one of the hardest to play, I think, mentally. Solos, like you can always kind of blame it on yourself. And duos, there's a lot of the times maybe your teammate can sell your bread, maybe you second guess who you play with, maybe you don't find someone you mesh as well with. Like there's a lot of chemistry involved. And that mode in itself is also so random compared to teams. Like playing through that, then having another game come out, etc. Being frustrated before, like everyone's quitting, blah blah. And sometimes people don't truly quit. They just need to take a break, right? And with solos, with an invitational, with not going through that weird RNG first process, like it's nice to be able to come back. And I feel like people should be a little bit easier on the people that have, quit so and so, but then are looking to come back and play again, because it's better that you support people coming. For people like Spades that have a little bit of success in Valorant, in terms of their gameplay, like it is a tough call on whether to come back or not. 100%, I still think you need to be fully passionate. And that's the same thing with orgs, right? Like I feel like the orgs that kind of dipped out because of the monetary, like obviously an org is kind of different. It's very expensive, especially when you're signing players. Like if you're thinking about coming back again, there's a roadmap now. You just have to find out if the passion is still there, like from when you left. I think that's the number one thing. But it's good to see that there is a roadmap.
That's a hard thing, because the passion is split in two ways. The passion killers show up in two ways, right? One is the competitive side via formats and existence of events and all that kind of stuff and modes. And the other side is the issues that Sorely alluded to, such as just the state of the actual game, balance and mechanics, right? And those go hand in hand and have to inform each other.
I think that just this is not really doing much yet. Again, it's like we just talked about, right? But this is a good sign, especially broadcast being back and knowing that there is a future for competitive. Like that was kind of unclear even for me, right? Like, was there going to be another event after FNCS? Like I didn't know until this invitational thing popped up, and then until this. Now I'm confident that there's going to be something for the rest of the year, not just cash cups, that I can actually work on and actually do whatever I'm going to be doing for it. Because that was a question. People like Demo who left, that was a big question. Demo obviously stayed to lag for his and just not having fun anymore. But the treatment of the game is a reason for a lot of people not having fun. This is a step towards good treatment. So I think that people will note that, but this has to last multiple seasons to bring people back and to make orgs have the confidence again. I think right now, after the announcement, people are going to see this and say, okay, like the orgs that are already invested and the orgs that think that there's always been potential that are still here are going to have more hope, and they might spend a little bit more. But the orgs that left, they're not coming back yet. They're not. They might see, oh, there's a couple events on the horizon. Yeah, we definitely want to be involved in that, but they're not signing a whole 16 players or whatever. Like,
just wait till the World Cup, baby. Just wait till the World Cup. Everyone.
Yeah, when World Cup comes, hopefully things. Number one, World Cup will be massive, and that would just rise stock in general, no matter what. But like, that's a long time from here. FNCS is not drawing people in. Online tournaments in general are not going to be drawing people in unless this broadcast is something that we've never seen before.
I don't know if that's necessarily totally fair, because while maybe like put on broadcasts haven't performed as well as we would love, they've performed well, but like it's not the same as like EMAD pulling in crazy viewers or Tfue pulling in insane viewers. I think that viewership is happening with these online events, like nuts viewership. It's just not exactly, it's where Epic wanted it at first, right? It's around individuals first.
But it's
and
not where Oryx can invest because, like,
exactly,
yeah, there's 100K viewers, but it's 100K people watching Tfue, right?
exactly.
Like, at worst, it's negative viewership because he's gonna be saying 100 Thieves spit on, or like get wrecked, other words, like
Exactly.
So yeah, so
In some ways, that
I-
push around the initial outbreak of initial skirmishes and the first World Cup of it being so focused on the individuals. We're gonna let individuals stream, and you can watch them instead of the broadcast and all that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of biting them in the butt, like now that we've come around to this point. Anyway, you guys have anything else to say before we send Taylor off?
I'm big chillin'. I think Balla is screening someone.
Hello, let's do this.
Yeah.
Am I muted? What? Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
I was here. What? You couldn't hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
I didn't even change anything. All right, whatever.
oh, what? Maybe
Shyo's just big chilling too hard. He big chilled his beard off, and now
I
we're
didn't.
in
I
a
didn't
weird
hear
space.
him. What? Not true. Man.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
move on.
Let's move on. Let's
Shyo's
move
just like, why was it so quiet for like 20? Like what's going on here? All right, Taylor, thanks so much for bringing your topic, man. I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Yep. You too, guys. Have a good show.
Peace. Thanks.
on.
All right. Are we zooming? We got more? All right, I'm going to make a call out here. Guys, submit your hot takes, bold predictions, and unpopular opinions. ! Hotline FN. If your topic was not picked, chances are it wasn't up to muster. Sorry. Sometimes it's because we've covered it. Sometimes it's because
Yeah.
we don't like the way you presented it. Like, it just happens. You know what I mean? Try
If I don't
posting a
thumbs
new
up
one.
your post, it's probably not going to get on the show. Just
Yeah,
if
exactly.
It's been there for a good 10 minutes and I haven't thumbs it up yet. Probably.
It's not likely that we're just not seeing it. But that's not to discourage you. It's to say, come with another one. You know what I mean? Keep bringing them in. We'll get you through. We'll get something interesting happening. All that said, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Ryan, and sadly to say, I'm from Jersey. I know it's a meme around here.
Be
I think you
proud of your
really should.
hometown.
No, yeah, I love it here. But yeah, so what I wanted to bring was so looking into the past, like every single LAN event that they've ever hosted has been solos or duos. And I think there's a reason for that. I think the broadcast around it's just a lot easier, and I don't see them venturing into trios or squads. And I saw a lot of hype for the World Cup 2021, maybe hosting trios. I just don't think it'll ever happen.
I run that back real quick. What did you say was easier about solos and duos?
I just think it'll be easier for broadcast with having, to keep track, or not keep track of, but like keep the camera on 3 people when they win, or like see, they love to do the
All right,
out
let
of
me
game.
ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. You're talking about out of game reactions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you, what's the most memorable reaction aside from Booga winning World Cup?
That's a good point. But they do love to show them. Like they do their best to do those out of game
I'm
flickers all the time.
You're saying
I
that,
was
like,
expecting you to say Tifu and Cloak. Like, it was
I would have
cheesy as
said that,
hell.
but no. Yeah, that was my answer. But that wasn't also that was the like reward ceremony, so I wouldn't count that. That's what my mind actually.
No, not even that. I'm thinking of them jumping up and down after winning a game. Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
thinking
the
the
one
Nick
where it wasn't
Merckx
certain.
shouting and standing up.
That's true.
yeah. Well, that was on his webcam, so that's different. But like,
Yeah.
when you're talking about specifically like
Dude.
finding out of. Trust me, that is not that hard. Trust me, it is
Really?
not. Yeah,
let me just
look
counter
at any
question.
other esport.
Look
Like,
at every other esport.
Wait.
How many people is per
I-
team that they have to catch? You
I
know what I mean?
take that. I take offense to that because there's not 100 players in the server. There you have to have, they
Good
have in
point.
Counter Strike. They have individual booths for every team, and there's no way Fortnite does that. They seat you on a floor in a
But
warehouse.
they could. They
with
could.
100. Maybe.
There's no reason they couldn't.
I've seen, like, I was at
World Cup.
Arthur Ashe Stadium World Cup, like the way people are set up, adding a third chair to that and moving back 2 feet from the like where the camera is, not complicated. Also, film minor almost over here. You already know what it means. Like in terms of
Almost.
camera angles and like it's like study this. Like it's you don't have to study it. Like it's not hard to record 3 people from a chair. Like just multiply your setup by 3, put a camera behind you. Like it fits, man. I don't think that's the issue for trios. It's a cool take because it got me heated, but God damn, bro, that is not the issue, bro. So,
Then why have they ran so many solos and so many duos up until this point?
More
And
people
they
play
started
solos and
off with
duos.
squads.
More people play solo and duo events than played trio events. I think that's it. You know what I mean? Like the competitive community cried hard. Like, we want trios again. That was awesome. We want trios. Like, sorry, I hit my mic. Like, we want trios. And they said no, right? And I cannot imagine that the biggest driving factor was that more people participated in duos and solos events historically than trios.
All right, well then that's my reason why it'll never come in the World
Damn it! What have I done?
Oh yeah, Pro-Am was trios. Wasn't Twitch Rivals trios as well?
Twitch Rivals was trios.
So it's
Yep.
worked. It's worked.
And there was trios at Australia Open recently.
Bing, bing, bop, bro.
No, but no, I kind of agree that is like what you just said, Tim, and also kind of what you're saying as well. But about like out of camera reactions, but I don't think that's like the factor of why they're not doing trios. But just to counter that a little bit more, I think it actually makes it easier to catch out of game reactions if it's teams. One of the issues is 100 solos on that big World Cup stage is they're running around. Oh, that guy just died. Oh, that guy just died. Like, and the cameramen have no clue what competitive like they're literally just cameramen, and they're running around getting seat numbers yelled in their ears, and they have like they're basically trying to catch it that way. If it was only 33 seat numbers or 33 sections, you know how much easier that would be for them actually, like to kind of counter that a little bit. But also the player base thing, like trios is played during mechs, guys.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say that too. I didn't want to jump in too much, but that was one of the worst seasons.
That's a great point.
yeah, trios was the worst season. Squads is squads, and for whatever reason, squads has a very, very negative connotation no matter what. But also there's no tools for larger team modes at all. Like no tools. There's no fill. There's no way to find teammates in the game.
That's a
There
big
was
issue.
no tournaments for squads like before this at all. So there was no build up to actually make that player base nice.
Yep.
Because I think that people would be very excited to play squads. But you're right. I think the player base will always be bigger for solos and duos, and that will always be a driving factor for a World Cup or something like that, which to me is very sad. So
Yeah. Another point to add on to that is just that server performance. I imagine that has something to do with it.
no.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I hate the server performance crap with the larger team modes making it. Bro, it's been proven time and time again that it doesn't matter what mode you're playing for server performance. It's always going to be laggy no matter what.
Not in Chapter 2, Season 2. I mean,
every mode is going to be dog, Tim.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Every mode's dog. Let's just do the one that's more fun.
It has been, except for the beginning days of Comp Fortnite, where squads was the only mode that would actually get stacked in towards the end game. That was the only time that squads was actually laggier.
That's a good
than
point.
anything else.
That's a good
Because
point.
once we got to Summer Skirmish and it was duos, it was just as laggy because it was just as stacked.
Yeah. I think that
In
I agree
fact-
a lot with. Oh, sorry.
In fact, I would say that squads might actually be less laggy because there's less people doing as many actions as they are.
I also feel like once you lose a member of your team just gets run over way easier than in like duos or something. Like
You're moving.
3
You're
versus
swapping
4.
takes. You're swapping takes,
I'm
Ryan.
sorry.
Stop
I'm
it.
sorry. I didn't.
Stop it.
All right, bye.
Thanks so much for being a part of the
Have a
show.
good one,
Have a good
guys.
evening. Peace out. I didn't want to say Balla. I didn't want to say that I agree a lot that there wasn't support for squads and there wasn't support for trios in the competitive ecosystem. We got trios FNCS with trios cash cups. That would be so slapping. Add in, arena fill. We'd be thumin, as they say. So, yeah.
I can't believe you just did our man's dirty like that. God damn, you just kicked him right out.
Yo, man, he's got to submit a new topic if he wants to get into that. Like, jeez,
Okay,
Louise.
okay. Oh my goodness.
Ryan, I love you. I think I love
He's
Jersey
gone,
because a
bro.
lot of cool people call in from there. So don't unfollow. I need it. I need those. I need all of them. All right. Shyo, while Balla is talking to our next guest here, let's talk about the heavy sniper nerf, right? Obviously, I know that I've been a huge proponent of reducing heavy snipers, and in my opinion, they did it to the perfect level. I was like, let's make it so minis still get you out of range. It's still a powerful power weapon. That isn't going to one-hit kill in most situations. I still don't love the existence of any one-hit kill from that kind of a range, even if you have to hit a headshot to get it. But I think that this is a step, like a significantly healthier place for this weapon to be at. What's your guys' take?
Yes.
Good.
Good. Is good.
We've been talking about this forever. We've wanted this change forever. It's like, yes, this is good.
Yep.
Yeah, the fact
please and
this
thank you.
specific change happened, I think, is cool because they've kind of listened to the community to like a little bit all the way to the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because everyone's kind of preached for that amount of damage at least, 125, 135.
They
So
didn't
see
just
what
make it
else
rare.
They have in store.
That's impressive.
Yeah, true.
That's true. That's true. They didn't just make it rare. Actually, they made it more common. But that's another.
Yeah, that's a different issue. But that's for another episode of Hotline. This is the slightly more positive episode, guys. Thank you very much.
It's funny because like game balance changes like this are not that controversial. I feel like
Yeah.
if you do a change like this, we're all gonna be happy and good. That's nice. So I don't know what else there is to say. We've been wanting this forever. I think we could go further with snipers just in general in comp, but I also think that they're never going to do that. So I you know what? I'm satisfied. I'm pretty satisfied.
I'm not satisfied, but I am happy with the change. All the same.
Cool.
I want more.
All right. Ready for caller?
Yeah, bring him in here.
We got the Viber himself.
Whoa, it's the Viber. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can we actually not call him the Viber? I don't like that anymore.
That's
like,
a little weird.
He vibes, but let's not call him the Viber.
That's a little weird. Are you grinding this time?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Damn it!
You mean I'm grinding?
Are you actively playing Fortnite while on the show? Damn it! Spare bone.
But like, I stopped.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
I was just cranking.
What do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, so basically, I feel like the way that they introduced the HLFN CS was like a great way of doing like a tournament. It's an invitational, and then you got like the open format. But like, they didn't just invite straight up content creators. They also invited players that made grand finals, some parts of heats, and etc. I feel like that's just a great way. The only thing that I personally don't like about the format, they invited a lot more content creators and like hardcore comp players, and they also invited people from grand finals maybe almost like 6 months ago. Trios was like the Trio FNCS was almost 6 months ago, and divided them when that was a whole different meta. It was a whole different chapter, and I feel like if they didn't invite them, whole different game mode too. I feel like it would just be better if they got more recent tournaments like trios, duos, instead of a tournament that was 6 months ago.
That's an interesting take. I think that there hasn't been a ton of events in the last 6 months to pull from otherwise. But in general, I really agree. I also love the idea of them inviting people who have performed heavily in the past because it gives another traction point for organizations to be involved, right? If it gets to the point where you can guarantee this player will be represented in the next event because they performed well in the past one, they will be represented in the next event. That is a huge entry point for sponsors and organizations, and thus a great spot for a greater longevity of the scene to be built, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I agree. The format is actually, you know what? I'm going to say that I don't necessarily really like the format. Why? Because we're not playing customs until grand finals, like at all.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we are inviting people from prior events, but I don't like the fact that it was not publicized before. So we had no way to know how to actually be in the invitational. So it's not really what you're saying it is, Tim, in the sense that there's a way for players to continue and have consistency and have a storyline and have org support and whatever, like all of that stuff. It's like it's the same issue with the invitation system at Secret Skirmish. And the biggest fault out of all of it is the fact that it's different game modes for me, different game modes qualifying for solos. Again, for why? Like, these guys are not necessarily good at solos. Like, it doesn't make for a good event. Yes, eventually we'll get towards the, a top 100 that is fairly good at solos, but for why? Like, why are we inviting duos or squad? Like, we're inviting people who place top whatever in squads, and half of those guys probably were just IGLs who think they were whatever, and people are they're good, but they're not good solo players.
Wait, is that High Sky Shade or is it Click Shade?
No, High Sky's actually gotten good at solos.
That's some Arab shade right there, baby. That's some Arab shade.
Maybe a little bit of Arab shade. Yeah, I'll say Arab.
Calc
It's
shade,
Arab
calc
sunlight,
shade.
because I feel like Arab said that himself as well, right? Like, the confidence. I literally asked him today, like, hey, expect big things from solos, right? Like, I'll be watching. He was like, haha, man, like, yeah, for sure, like solos, it'll be very good for me. Like, it's true. Like, squads, trios, like, why do it? I think the question is just coverage, right? And like the people coming in, like, why are content creators even involved in an FNCS that's supposed to be competitive, right? Because the second word is that it's an invitational. So obviously, throw back to trios, throw some respect on those guys for their feats. They deserve a spot just because of that, not because of it's going to be the most competitive thing. The content creators upholding the game, upholding the numbers over time. Throw some respect on them as well. Everyone's done their individual part since the inception of the FNCS, since trios. So that'll all come up. I think that also there's been some comeuppance, right? I mean, there's been some comeuppance too. Like, there's been such a big break between trios and squads, and then squads and duos. If we're doing the same format now, where it's like 3 FNCSs to an invitational, it'll be a lot more current and a lot more what people are looking at. I think this is just experimenting with that 3-to-1 format. I can almost basically predict that there'll be another type of invitational thing going on in 3, but this time you'll see it be a little bit more competitive. They just want as many numbers here as possible that they know have played at a high level and are interested in playing the game first and foremost, right? If you came into the grand finals, if you're top 100, there's a high chance you're coming back and playing again, and you're enthusiastic about the grind, and you'll place regardless of the mode compared to the normal player. So I think that's why they pull from trios and squads. That's why there's content creators, and that's why it might not be as competitive now, but that's so it can be competitive in the future.
I don't think that one has to be, beget the other, right? To use biblical language, I suppose. But like I don't know. You want to throw respect on trios, like on trios gods, invite them to a trios events. You want to throw respect on content creators, give them patch notes and not anybody else. If you want to throw respect on, like, I don't know, it's like, it's weird to me because it reduces the quality of their own name. It's anti-marketing. FNCS is now known as a lesser event than it was before.
Yes.
Like maybe not everyone's going to key into that,
me.
but it does that. It does that. You know what I mean? If they wanted it to be an invitational, they should have called it Chapter 2 or Chapter 2 Season 2 Skirmish and thrown back. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do another Twitch Rivals, invite whoever the heck they want. I agree with Balla that, like, I mean, yeah, it sucks that, like, just invites kind of are thrown willy-nilly to certain people. But ultimately, it's just kind of like, I still like the format, you know?
Another aspect that I really, really like about this format is that we get 3 or whatever weeks of build-up that all are more and higher stakes. Okay, so like FNCS is 4 weeks of, like, week 1 is probably the highest stakes. Week 2 is like similar stakes. Week 3 is similar stakes. Week 4 is similar stakes. Like, they all mean exactly the same thing. And then we go into grand finals. It's like one big burst of, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. Like, this is week 1. All right, week 1, we got a couple content creators. Let's see if they can make their way in. Like, this is going to be pretty cool. And it's like week 2. Okay, there's no more content creators. None of them made it in because we invited content creators. It's just competitive players now. Who's going to be the top 100? And then grand finals. It's like 14 game or whatever is it? How many games is it? 16?
It's 12 games in 2
12
days.
games. 12
grand
games, 2
finals is
days. It's
12
like,
games in 2 days.
wow, like, that's amazing. Like, 12 games in 2 days. Now it's top 100. Oh, snap. This is going to be dope. Day 1's going to be like, okay, who's actually going to be people who we're going to look at the next day? And then day 2 is to be like, who's going to win the tournament? Like, isn't that sick? That story boost over that hype builder, like, that is awesome. That's what I want to see from a World Cup, bro. I want to see 4 weeks of, like, not like intensity building before it actually happens. But I want them to be heats. I want people to get eliminated. And I want people to end up in the most stacked grand finals of all time. Like, that would be sick. But it ain't what it is.
Well, I feel like this could actually be pretty stacked since the way that, like, you mentioned all of this,
it's gonna be
the
stacked.
4 weeks. I feel like the content creators are all gonna die first round. They're not making it. I doubt.
I mean,
They
I
do-
could see some of them making it through first round by the skin of their teeth, but
Well,
not-
like Ninja.
I think
like,
you-
he's, like, the only good one.
I think that you underestimate or are not really thinking about the format too strongly because it's actually top 500. It's like top 600 people into top 300, which is only 300 people getting eliminated. And then finally it's top 100. So like it's not that big of a drop off every single time. It's not like opens to semis, right?
Yeah.
Where opens is tens of thousands to thousands.
But then, like, take in mind we have the griefers. They'll do anything for clout. They'll literally land on Ninja just to get those like couple
Good
like
point.
KD.
Content creators are
No,
screwed.
no. There's no griefers in. There's not gonna be griefers in this.
Well, that's what
don't
everybody
think so at
says.
all.
And then you have the booger griefers that will stream snipe them, and then
It's
they'll-
the
Who are actually good, yeah.
It's the actual per game format that introduces griefing, right? Although like the overall competitive format can definitely contribute to it. The per game format, it's when you I mean the other way around, right? You look at like Cash Cup round 2, right? For as an example, only top 5 get rewards. So in those customs or whatever, anyone who's after 2 games they're in the bottom 50, they're still gonna grief, right? Like that's always gonna like be a thing, right? As long as they are running tournaments in this fashion.
Yes.
Nope. Yes. Here's a bold prediction. You guys want my bold prediction? I got a bold prediction for you. They're gonna unvault traps one of these weeks, and Cypher PK is gonna pop off, and he's gonna win the whole thing. That's my
I
bold
feel like Ninja
prediction.
would do
You
good.
underestimate Cypher PK and his trap potential, my man. My man's a pub trapper. I feel like he's gonna have a hero's journey in getting that trap action back all the way into
Yeah,
top.
I'm not underestimating him. I'm saying he's gonna win. He's gonna win it all as soon as they unvault traps. He's gonna trap
Oh,
tower
sure.
the whole
I'm
lobby.
over-
PK could actually like legitimately qualify for finals
without traps. Yeah.
Oh
without
yeah.
traps. Like right now.
Didn't Cypher almost qualify for like week 2 dual FN CS finals?
Yes.
Like West?
I guarantee you'll see at least 5 content creators you didn't expect in the grand
Yeah.
finals. And yes,
100%.
that sounds like
At
a
least
clickbaity
5.
title. And yes, I'm making that vid. It's gonna be lit.
Wait, no, you can't use that title. I'm using it for this clip for Hotline. Sorry. Find a new one.
True.
Got him.
True.
All right, Sparrow. Thanks so much, man. Have a fantastic evening.
You too. Good night, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Peace out. All right, Shyo. We're rolling it back again to the patch notes conversation here. Oh wait,
All right.
Oh, I
no,
got a new caller.
just kidding,
Sorry,
just
I'm
kidding.
too quick.
This dude's lightning quick with it.
I have to prevent Tim from talking about gameplay. That's my sole goal. Even though he
Damn it!
he
All I
asked
want
me,
to talk
he's like,
about is
"Please
gameplay.
bring topics that are gameplay." And I'm like, nope. All right, I'll try to find a gameplay one, but we've got a non-game.
If you've got a gameplay related hot take, bold prediction, or unpopular opinion, hit ! Hotline FN in the chat and bring it and throw it in Balla's face and make him accept it. You can't do that, but try. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Nick, also known as Grinnicide, and I'm from New York.
Welcome back to the hotline, Nick. New York is in shambles still, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm chilling in my basement. It's okay.
Hell yeah. Good time to have a basement.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you want to talk about tonight?
All right, so obviously, the whole roadmap thing was talked about before in the show, but my take is that the fact that they're bringing back broadcasts, that is the most important thing beyond anything else that they said. I know they talked about how there will be returning like more FNCS in the future. They're going to be keeping like 2-step cash cups. They talked about the third-party events, all that stuff. But I think the broadcasts is the most important thing in terms of longevity and future of Fortnite. Because, I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but one thing that kind of gave me this idea was the fact that in their tweet, it does says, we've heard the feedback. And that is like one of the only times we've heard something where they've really heard the feedback and they responded in a light where the community was like happy. Other times was what with the mech where they were like, oh, we don't care that you guys don't like it. We want Timmy to win his first game. So we're going to just keep it and cry about it all you want. But I feel like that's mainly one of the biggest things that they could have done because it shows that they support it and they want to like branch out more because no offense to Ball or anyone streaming, I feel like people that aren't too in touch with the community are less likely to find the stream if it's not like Fortnite streaming it as opposed to like having to really go and like search for these personalities that are doing their own viewing parties.
Or full-on productions in the case of
Yeah,
Crack Server
even
and
more,
Balla
yeah.
and Shyo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Throw some
yeah.
respect on it, bruh. Yeah, I think it's sorry, yeah. Balla, if you got it, take it away.
I was basically going to say that I actually completely disagree with this in terms of like the fact that like it's good that broadcasts are back. Trust me, I'm very happy that broadcasts are back. But I don't think that they're the most important thing for the longevity of this game or anything like that.
Mhm.
I think way more important. Like, they're very important, but way more important is actually supporting the players and having a good game. Like, I
Actually
don't think
having
that
a good game.
broadcasts. Yeah, just like having a good game, respecting the players, giving them like communication, like treating them well, in general. And I'm not saying that they're treating specific people poorly. I'm just saying like treat the game good, and you will in turn treat the players well.
Respect.
Like that is in my mind the most important thing, because broadcast, like my job as a caster is to expose like the good players, like to give them what they deserve, right? To give the world a chance to see the glory of freaking, Zexro or whatever it might be, right? That is my job as a caster, is to hype that up and get people interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I disagree with the fact that you're saying like the most important thing is broadcast. That might be hyperbole, but yeah.
He's right. If you change one word in the sentence from longevity of the game to growth of the two words, then players and the game in its sense as well, because like finding certain communities, finding certain players when it's on Fortnite's channel, Fortnite's broadcast consistently, and you're showing up time and time again, that's how you get made, and that's how more people get interested in Fortnite when it's at the top of Twitch, the channel itself, the branding itself, the game, the way it's meant for the company to portray it. Like, that is very important for growth, especially I think for competitive, and the way things are being shown, the way that that Balla talks about our jobs as casters. Like, that's what we want to do, is give the player the spotlight, let them grow, not only talk about their story, but then give people a little bit of beginner insight to the game. Like, casting is very different from casting on his channel, casting on the main Fortnite channel. Like, everything kind of changes up. So I'm hyped to get back into that groove, because I think right now it's been about, still getting a little bit hyper competitive and, showing what we've got, showing the story. But now we can also show how the game can grow, how, new players can take the reins. And we'll see that from, the first week of all these people qualifying, trying to get it up against the big hitters in week 2 and onwards. So it'll be cool. I agree with you, just with a few word changes. Longevity will always be game balance and just supporting the community through other means. A broadcast will never make the game longer or last as much.
An interesting way to look at it, though, is the game has come a long way since the last time you had broadcasts, right? And there's only so long you can hide the glaring issues of the game behind the positive attitude of a bunch of casters, right? Like what are they gonna do if the guy who's in contention, if the 3 guys in contention to win grand finals don't connect to the final game? You know what I mean? Like, they've kind of have taken a really bold, brave step by exposing themselves like this, right? With so many glaring issues currently in the game that will only bite them in the ass over and over and over again. Even something like, if you're watching a crowd favorite just get rolled over and get pissed off by a Mythic minigun or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, we're not at a point anymore necessarily where, like, I think Dr. Lupo talking negatively about the Boombo during a cast, right? Like, those sorts of things where these sort of like huge names with, like, obviously professionals aren't necessarily going to be doing that a lot, right? And it's not your job to. Like, I don't want you to, but like, these things are going to be borne out, especially things like the disconnects and stuff. There's just not as much room to hide behind it. So I think that from that kind of an angle, maybe this is the way that they managed to maybe even accidentally push themselves into making the changes that support the player base and respect the players and stuff, because otherwise they look like idiots on their own broadcast, right?
Exactly, Tim. And one more thing, like, I feel like it's also just like more important, again, like what you were saying, is because they're kind of now making it where like what their game is and what they're pushing is now being supported like by their platform solely. And like, it would make them look even like more like clowns if it was kind of just a mockery and like people aren't connecting and there's a bunch of issues. So no, you're totally right. I didn't even think about that, but it actually makes a lot of sense that like now
Thank you for the
these issues
validation.
shown on like their broadcast, it'll make them look even worse. So
I think I saw like a couple even sentiments like on Reddit or whatever that kind of highlighted that, and it was a different way that I saw the community responding. It's basically like saying, yeah, replay mode is going to suck, guys. It still sucks, but we need to still show support so that they can update this, right? So that they can find out, because literally I haven't seen any real changes in replay mode since broadcasts stopped. Like it was like, okay, well, we're not doing broadcast anymore, and we're stopping updating replay mode because we don't need to.
Yep.
Like it felt like that, and that sucked. But like to get back, broadcasts are a piece of the puzzle, is what Speedy Gonzalez said in chat, and 100% I agree with that. It's part of a larger ecosystem. I tweeted about that long ago. It's part of a larger ecosystem that really should be there. But I think it's with the caveat that like it isn't it is an important piece, but it's not the most important piece. Like I don't want them to sacrifice certain things over that. And to be honest, the other flip side of this is if the broadcasts suck, I'd rather not have them.
Yeah.
And that's bold coming from me because I make money off those broadcasts. Like I'd rather have EMAD's viewing parties or my stream doing their own coverage because in my mind that's a better experience than what we saw at the World Cup online qualifiers. So there's that too.
I mean, that's great to hear, though. That just speaks on your character. You care more about the game itself than your own personal gain, which is respectable.
100%. 100%. That's why this man is here week in, week out.
Exactly.
Thanks so much, Nick. Mr. Grin aside, I hope you have an incredible evening.
Thanks for having me on. Yep, you too, guys. Have a good night.
Peace out.
Well, we don't have any gameplay topics, so I'm gonna pause on the callers for a second. If you want to talk about some gameplay real quick, and then I'll go get the caller in a bit.
What other gameplay were we gonna talk about? I still want a lot of things changed.
It's not that interesting to talk about. Then.
It's because we talked about it so many times and it hasn't changed, right? Oh, I had kind of my own personal revelation this week. I want to see what you guys think about it. Here, I'm the host. I'm bringing another take to you guys, to the panel. This is happening.
Okay.
I kind of tweeted about this a little bit. Chapter 2, Season 1. We saw mitigation of the effects of random chance on any given player's game. To a huge degree, the inclusion of fishing reduces overall loadout RNG. The inclusion of upgrade machines all over the map significantly reduces the potential impact of RNG on your game. The inclusion of 100% chest spawn rates was insane, right? Incredibly reduced. We went into Chapter 2, Season 1 with this concept of scavenger routes are insane now, right? You don't have to land somewhere with 15 chests. You can land somewhere with 5 chests because they're all going to spawn. And then you can also fish. This is great. This is awesome. And we saw a really healthy meta emerge out of Chapter 2, Season 1. Season 2 introduces Mythic POIs. And those greatly increase at the minimum, something I've coined as engagement RNG, right? Now going into any fight, you have to be worried, like, he could have a Mythic drum gun. I don't know. He pulls out the Mythic drum gun, and I'm going to lose that fight, like, in most situations, given equal skill, unless I have, like, a gold pump to one-shot him with, right? And what that does, in my mind, is it reduces the willingness to take fights, which goes against Epic's desires, and then they have to push it through format systems that greatly reward kill points, right? But the inclusion of Mythic POIs alone was this kind of like slap in the face of everything they had done to reduce RNG in the previous season, which is just like this weird thing that stuck out to me. Because at first it felt like this great step in a really positive direction, and then like never mind. We don't really care. Like that wasn't our goal at all. We just thought these were cool. We weren't thinking about it that deep. Get wrecked, kid. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, and launchpads. Launchpads are part of that. They're a huge part of that.
I mean, launch pads like help, but that was that was this season, so we're vibing. But like Mythic POIs, I mean, they've had them in the past before. I don't think they ever consider that aspect for competitive. I feel like that's more so just, this looks cool for the game. Let's see what's up. Balance after, like the whole do first then ask for forgiveness motion. And like, these POIs haven't been changed too much. I know the Shark went through some changes, but I don't feel like that was for competitive game balance again, and I don't think they care too much about that side of fully balancing out the map for competitive, because Slurpy Swamps would really not exist. It's like you talk about Chapter 1 getting good RNG, like that spot in itself was an insane Mythic POI compared to all other drops. And so that, I never think that they're ever really thinking about that aspect. It's about, let's make the best game we can make and let the competitive meta, start itself. I didn't think they ever intended for shockwaves to be as influential as they were. I feel like they were just added to the loot pool because cool. You know what I mean? Like we'll
Definitely.
unvault this mobility item now. So you have it. You have a grasp on it, but I don't think they're thinking about that aspect too much.
Yeah, which is part of the problem.
I think that map balance and RNG actually balances itself in this game. That's my hot take.
You've said that before, and I think Mythic POIs prove you incredibly wrong, and we've seen that through FNCSs and especially in Cash Cups.
That's
Not
true.
in FNCSs. No.
What do you
not
mean?
in FNCSs.
The winner doesn't have to
Grotto?
come from a Mythic POI for it to still have a crazy negative impact on the game. I'm talking about every mid-game engagement is affected because you don't know if that person has a Mythic weapon.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying Mythic POIs are good. I'm just saying that get rid of the Mythic POIs and then most map stuff will be pretty much balanced just based off of the way that players behave.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, especially with 100% chest
And I
bombs.
think I think that even Mythic items like that kind of also mitigate themselves. You're right that there's like random influences on, but you have to actually think like the people who come out of Shark get pressured more because the players are trying to get the grappler. Like that's a thing that happens.
What
right?
about Grotto?
Grotto's kind of OP because nobody does, but no, actually people in retail come through. Bro, guys, Grotto is a shit show in
Hey,
grand
what about
finals.
But that's
What
part of
about
the
Europe?
negative impact, right, on the
What
game
happened in
as a
Europe,
whole.
then?
Stopping Aqua shit on everybody, and they were like free win, basically.
Exactly, because it's OP as heck.
No,
and no one can
it's OP,
challenge him.
but nobody will challenge Aqua and Stompy because they would dominate them. That was like them conditioning that spot for so long. Like
But
that
then
is
there's people that would get dominated in NA as well, but they're just stupid and didn't want to leave and grief the people that should have done what Stompy and
That's-
Aqua did.
That's bro, like
That's the nature of the POI.
that's
Then
why
why
I'm
isn't it
saying-
happening
that's
in
why
a
I'm
major
saying it's
region
balancing
with
itself.
more players? Like it should be happening in Europe. Then the fact it didn't means that it doesn't actually balance itself out.
Not
Especially with the
true,
reason that it has that many
because Aqua and
players.
Stompy, number one, like they
But
didn't.
we're the
like,
stupid players. Like we're the stupid players that just want to throw their game come 50th. They should be there too for the balance.
Why?
Because
no,
it happened in NA,
Child,
it happened in OCE,
Child,
and it
that
happened
is
in every
not-
other region.
That's not actually what I'm saying at all, bro. I'm saying the fact that Aqua and Stompy are probably better than Tfue and Scoped means that no stupid players came at them. Like that's literally my point, is that player behavior does things, and sure, it's OP, but like a spot is only good because of the conditions around it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like Grotto was shit in NA East because Tfue and Scope were not smart. Like Tfue and Scope, number one, they didn't start in week one at that spot. They didn't alpha Chap and AV off. They didn't alpha all those people off in the warm-ups. Like
True.
Aqua and Stompy were trying to do. Like it's been a hard battle for them since the beginning. And
But it's
Mitro and
only
CR,
worth
where
it.
were they?
It's only
after
worth
what
it
they
because
did
of the
with Shark?
inherent power of the grotto, right? Like
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like these, like again, Mythic POIs are kind of like far-fetched in terms of game balance and stuff like that. But like the game balances itself is my point. And the grotto and the shark and all these things have examples of the players there not doing well because of the player behavior around them.
Sure.
And to a certain extent, like those spots were still OP, but like it was still balanced by the player behavior in a lot of spaces, especially in NA East and especially with the Shark and EU.
Thank you for humoring me, my friends. And I want to share a very special message with our viewership, whom I love dearly. But that's how you bring a good take, bold prediction, or unpopular opinion to the board and get the panel riled up. I double dog dare you to do that yourself.
Up right now?
I'm using it as an example. All right, let's
Okay.
get the next caller in here.
Yeah, you can drive him in. I drive him in.
Hey, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name's Cincy. I'm from Illinois. Gotta mute this stream.
Hey, Cincy. What do you want to talk about tonight?
Not much. So, just to put it out there first and foremost, them moving to round 2 was really good with the cash ups, and I think the idea that they're trying to move it towards placement points is really good as well. But we have the same core issues in round 1 that we did with the previous cash cups. And
explain.
Which is
just to provide some reference to it, So Frey tweeted two teams from EU, one that qualified and one that didn't. The team that qualified got a 36 kill first game. The next 5 games, they didn't get over 6 kills, and they didn't place higher than 22nd. And then another team that did not qual got a 10 kill win, a 5 kill 4th place, a 5 kill 1st place, another win, a 3rd kill 11th place, and then a 10 kill 5th place. And they didn't even make top 200.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of like argue yourself out of your own point, right? You're like, it's good that they're moving towards a direction that favors placement, but it doesn't favor placement. It doesn't at all.
Well, I think that their general idea tried to move towards placement, but it just didn't change anything in the long run.
I mean, it's not hard to do the math, right? It's not hard for them to do the math of this many kills equals this placement given the points that we are handing out, you know, and like it happens in a bubble. Like they're able to look at all of that before putting it out. And they decided that they still wanted to heavily incentivize kills in this format and in the FNCS format. They wanted to heavily incentivize pop-off games over consistently making it to the end of a battle royale. They want to incentivize killing or eliminating over survival. And that's how it's been in the majority of Epic approved formats. And I think it's bad. I think it's bad. I think it's a bad Cash Cup format. I think it's a bad FNCS format. And while I appreciate the change, it's just different. It's not necessarily better. That's my take.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my. So I actually think that like you're right in the sense that like we're basically in the same balance, kills versus placement than we were before. People might argue that it's kind of more, just because like sheer numbers, but like there's more placement points available now to everybody, so that kind of balances a little bit. So I'd say, especially watching these games and watching who's playing well and actually looking at the data and stuff like that you're talking about, I think that we're in a spot right now where it's basically the same.
Yeah.
But what does change and what is really good about this format is that we got rid of a lot of thresholds. Like it allows for more consistency for placement, and you don't get screwed as much, just straight up, which is really, really nice. And I'm happy with that. So the fact that we're still the same in terms of kill versus point placement balance, like people might say that we're more, again, people might say that we're more kill based now. I don't really see that in the data too much, but what I do see is the fact that people aren't getting screwed anymore, which is nice. I do think that we could relax the kill points a little bit, but like you're saying, Tim, maybe they like that. Maybe they like the fact that winning is way more valuable than placing, highly. Like getting all of the placement points, but I think they should still like incentivize the win a little bit more than they do. But yeah, so I think this is overall good. I like people complaining about it right now. Like, why? Like, this is just good.
I think that something you kind of glossed over is that you mentioned how having less thresholds and more spread out placement points, right? How that makes you get less screwed, except it's kind of the opposite when kills are so heavily incentivized, because consistently placing in the top 10 doesn't give you as great an advantage over the rest of the field as it used to. And now the people who have a couple good high kill pop-off games separate themselves from the pack way more than the guy who consistently places top 5 can anymore. And that makes it skewed even more towards kills than it would be otherwise. If they kept thresholds, but just upped the point scale like they have, but kept all the same thresholds, and then changed the kills, it would, I think, in my opinion, favor placement more than the current system.
Yeah, I think there's just math around that we can use to make those arguments.
Yeah.
Obviously I haven't done that math, but yeah, okay. Okay. Like to me,
Yeah, sure.
I still value like not getting screwed based on, falling one placement short of a threshold more
Totally.
than that.
Yeah,
Right?
that's fair.
Again,
to the
I would
personal
like to see
experience, yeah.
I would like to see the balance shifted more towards placement, but like, and I will push for that. I will say I want 2 points per kill or 1 point per kill, but
What about kill thresholds?
I'm done.
yeah, I love kill thresholds actually.
Like the way it was before? You think that was good? Because That introduced
It's actually
not those
like,
not those ones. Like that's what I mean by kill thresholds. Or are you talking about like a max of 7 kill points in a game?
right.
'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
I'm talking
saying-
about max threat. I'm talking about max
Okay.
kill points. I think
Okay.
max kill points would be a great idea.
So what? Let's all 3 of us, 3, 2, 1, or 4 of us. We have 4 on the call right now, right? All 4 of us. We're gonna throw out a number on go. All right, for what we think the max should be. All right, 3
For wait, solos?
for kill thresholds. For solos, yes. All right,
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Unlimited.
10.
Me and Child said 10.
All right.
said
Why do you say
7.
7?
Because I feel like 7 is a spot that's like a good game, but like it's also something that you can't really read too much more. You know, like I think 7 is a good game. 10 is I don't know. 10 is crazy. That's like if you get 10 kills, that's because you are looking for more than what you should be getting in a normal game or an average game.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that someone who performs really well mid gets a lot of kills, like up to 6, 7?
The
and
problem
then
is,
top
I
5 and
think my
says
goal with the
everyone-
max, is to make it so that people will do this all play the same with the same goals in mind.
True.
That is
True.
my reason for wanting a max. Is
Yeah.
I want everybody to play the same type of way to play for the same goals, right? Which is maxing out their kill points and getting a win. That's
Yeah.
why I would want a max. So that's why I think 10 is a little too much because that's hunting. That's starting to hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
7 is okay. I could do that with a good win, right?
Yeah. I'm just
I
saying
think-
10 because like I feel like that last 3 comes in like super late game, 9th zone. You're taking out the final, the majority of the final 5. Like get a reward for that. But at the same time, that last 3, that means you've been hunting that beginning part of the game. If you played that a little bit more passive for that final hunt, then you get your 7. I respect your number call and your decision. I'm now switching my number to 7. 10 is no longer my best friend.
I think it doesn't look at the core of the issue though, right? The problem is that this would balance itself. You don't need a max threshold if you have a lobby full of the best players. Because
Nah,
the
man.
lobby full of the best
best
players
players-
can't hunt for 10 kills. They just can't.
The best players
look
are
at
the
World-
hunters.
No, you look at
In
World Cup
solos,
finals.
The best players
Look at
are the hunters.
You look at World Cup finals, no one is consistently getting 10 kills a game.
Yes, Dubs Mega. The reason they qualied is because they get 10 kills to 20. kills a
Qualled,
game.
not World Cup finals.
Not World Cup finals.
Oh, true.
The problem is
man,
open format. The problem is open format because you need a cap because otherwise you've got contender cash cups, champs F and CS, where you have a lobby where there's one player who's World Cup quality against a lobby full of people who are not World Cup quality, and you need a way to kind of try to equalize that a little bit because otherwise it gets just untenable and it's too RNG
But then
based
if
on the
it's
quality of your
7
lobby.
If it's 7 and no one's hitting that anyways, then it's fine to have it there for grand finals. Because
What
then
I'm
even
saying
so-
is it needs to be like position in the tournament specific. Make a kill cap in open.
Nah, man.
You don't need a kill cap in finals. You don't need a kill
No,
cap
it's
in
just
finals.
If you have a kill cap in finals, that means that you won't have situations where someone's just running away with the competition, having that one-off 15 kill game.
My
where
argument is
insane
if they made it to
8 kill game.
finals against everyone else that made it to finals and managed to run away with the kind of point disparity like Booga had it in World Cup, they deserve it. You don't deserve it in opens where it's all based on lobby RNG.
Sometimes there's RNG in that game that happens to get you 15 though. Like I understand it's against the best players, but
True.
like I don't know. I feel like if you're hitting 7 in a grand finals, that's insane still. But I agree in the fact that it shouldn't be there in grands. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I
I
now
think
agree
that'd be
with Tim.
better.
I have a
is my
caller
new best
that,
friend.
that basically like adds to this. So Sensei, I want to thank you for the call, and I want to bring in the next guy.
No problem. Thank you guys. Have a
Have a
good
great
night.
evening.
Sir, peace.
Peace. Tim, are you dragging? Yeah, perfect. Boom.
Let's go.
Guy's name.
Best caller. This guy's name is Timmcd69420. What's your actual name and where are you calling from?
My name is Elharian. My real name is Daniel, and I'm calling from New Jersey.
Wow, are you actually in New Jersey?
Yes, that's why I changed my name in the first place.
I love it. I'm about it. I'm disappointed that I ever took off our little thingy thing.
Yeah. me
Glorious.
too.
All
What
right.
you want to talk about?
So my idea with that was that we would have different like systems for scoring for both finals and opens. So in opens,
Yeah!
you want to reward
I love you.
placement more and elims less, because like people are getting these like 20 kill games in the opens, and like
30
that shouldn't
kill
be
games.
rewarded so much. Yeah, that's sort of crazy, and I don't think that should like instantly qualify you. And on the other hand, getting like even 10 kills or like 5 kills in a finals with like all the best players, that's so much more impressive. So if you change the format between like an opens and a finals, so that elims are worth more in finals, that makes it so that like the players like King in World Cup finals can still pop off, get all those kills, and get the placement they
Yes.
deserve. But then in opens, people aren't W keying like crazy, and you
You
still
know
get
why I
those
love
stacked
this
end games.
idea? You know why I love this idea? Because open qualifiers are hella hard to actually follow as a viewer.
Yeah.
And what's really, really important to me is that I can calculate what is actually a good game and to see what is possible, right? So like we have to rely when we're making projections on like who has an opportunity to qualify on a bunch of other factors. But it'd be really nice to be like, okay, this is his last game. He needs to have a max point game to win and qualify into the finals. But then when we get to the finals, it's really easy to have a switch like that. To have a switch like, okay, well, points are not capped anymore. Max placement you can get is 10 points or whatever it is in this format right now. And then you can get as many kills as you want. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, anybody could do this. And that's cool in the final game where there's only 100 stories to watch and not
Yes.
10,000 like you're watching the qualifiers. I think I love this idea and I want to see this
too.
implemented for sure. I'm going to push for it.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I think it's great because your goal is to limit the obscenity of lobby RNG in opens, but still allow insane skill expression in finals. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. It also puts a bigger emphasis on tiered systems where it's not opens finals, right? But opens, a couple levels of semis into finals with a loosening of that restriction along the way until it's like, hey, we probably have like a pretty evenly matched lobby at this point. Now the kill restriction's completely gone, right? I love it. I love it. Balla loves it. Shyo, you love it?
I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tim. Is sexy 69 420.
Well, this was not very unpopular, I guess.
I don't think that anybody would actually disagree with this opinion, to be honest.
If they do, they're dumb.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great night, man.
You too.
Peace out.
All right, last caller, I think.
Last
Boom.
caller. Wow. Okay. What's your name and where are you
Yeah,
calling
we're kinda
from, last
fast.
caller?
Kinda fast.
My name is K Shub, and I'm calling from Iowa.
Yo, what's up, K Shuv? I duoed with this guy. He's dope. He's the coolest. He's the coolest kid in Iowa, probably. Yo,
Oh,
what'd you
yeah,
want to talk
for
about tonight?
All right, so with Solo FNCS getting announced, I've been like thinking to myself, like, I want to play, right? So I'm like, okay, well, where should I drop? And when I'm searching for a drop spot, I've come to this like huge like battle in my mind of whether I should go to like a Mythic POI, right? Because like that's very appealing. There's a guaranteed launch pad. It might be a little bit harder to win, but there's also like broken Mythic weapons. Or should I go to a poverty route where it's maybe more safer, but I could also still get contested and get worse loot? And I've come to the conclusion, with a little bit of help from Tim, that I think
Uh-oh.
Mythic POIs have kind of watered down like the ability to land at poverty routes or even just smaller drops on the map.
Nope.
Hard
Yeah,
nod,
no,
no.
because we see in FNCS a lot of winners coming from not Mythic POIs. I think I think value is reduced in certain ways. It's not the drop value that's reduced. It's the engagement value, right? If you're carrying a
Maybe
mythic
the
weapon,
opposite,
you can be way more confident than everybody else. But your actual drop
Right.
spot itself, I don't think loses a ton of value in the early or in the late game necessarily. It's that fear of, I know I don't have the best items in the game. I know that there are 6 people out there who have objectively better guns than me, like guns that can straight up win fights, and I just don't have those, and they could. And that's where the issue comes in. Fellas?
I think it has watered down spots that we might traditionally be watching. Like, it feels like everything we watched in this season was watching the grotto, watching the shark, watching the
Yeah.
agency, and then watching the end game. That's kind of like a thing.
You know
But
why though?
in terms of,
I feel like I'll just a small point to add to that is just a lot of these spots are split, man, and they don't see contestation. Like Lazy, like Slurpee, Steamy as well in some regions. Like no one
was, yeah.
contests the big POIs anymore, and people are forced to contest these mythic ones because the way the mythic is designed is that all the big loot can only go to one
the
squad.
reason you're
So,
going there is
yeah,
to get the infinity blood.
that's all I want to add. But yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because like oh, sorry, you can go.
No, go ahead.
All right, well, what I was gonna say is, what kind of like came to my mind is almost I don't know why more people don't. Never mind. I don't know.
I, I think that there. I think that what has actually happened is it might be kind of right in a sense where like shambles loot routes kind of
Mhm.
got a little bit gone compared to like season 1 where
Yeah.
shambles routes were actually really good, especially like even in squad. Well, squads is different entirely.
Yeah.
But like you would see like for example Nano 1 out of landing at the bridge in the center of the map. Like
Mhm.
he did really well at DreamHack doing that. Mr. Savage 1 landing at Camp Cod. You know, like these very shambles routes in my mind were actually good at that point. I think that you've had a shift of power to obviously Mythic POIs are top tier, but kind of untenable to hold and to maintain and to stay consistent at, other than stomping Aqua, basically.
Mhm.
Uh, because of just what Shio said is that everybody there is going for a specific reason and they're not going to give up without actually getting that. But that makes it so that all these other POIs like Sweaty, where we saw 2 FNCS winners out of in EU, Nate and Alex, and in NA East, Zayt and Staff, I think that it made those spots clearly better in some regards over the shambles routes because now those spots are getting less contested. Now those spots, you're still getting the same amount of loot, but you're basically getting it for a little easier in a
Mhm.
lot of cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all just kind of compounds and creates all these interesting situations. Like you said, it creates spiraling out from those mythic POIs, different play styles, and that kind of stuff. I think that the core conceit, though, is that like the mythic POIs are kind of they're busted, right? They're busted, and while players have definitely found a way to play around them, that's my opinion, and I think opinion of a lot of others, that the general impact on the health of the game and general lobby quality is diminished just by not necessarily the existence of the POIs, but the existence of the vaults within them and the mythic weapons that the bosses drop. I mean, the guaranteed, like you could take everything away from the mythic POIs and give them just the guaranteed launch pads, and they would maybe not be quite as heavily contested and as important, but they would still be really freaking up there. I mean, it's like, you mean I can go to a POI and it's got a free
I think actually
supply
nerfing
drop?
it that way would make it better than they are right now.
Oh, it definitely make it
Because
better. Oh, 100%.
I think nerfing it in that way would literally make it better than they are right now.
Because it
just
doesn't
be like
it doesn't affect mid game like mythic weapons does. You know what I mean? Someone having a launch pad doesn't make them more likely to kill me if I have to fight them.
that's not kind of where I was going. I was going in the sense that less people would contest as heavily, and
It
because of
multiple
that,
benefits.
you get more consistent routes out of it, and you would always have that launch pad for endgame, which wasn't a thing for people not landing at those POIs.
Yeah, I'm with you on it.
Somebody keeps asking this question. We're kind of moving on it because I don't think that I think we've kind of exhausted the take. But somebody was asking, and I want to know what you guys think about what the hell are Mythic POIs going to look like in season 3, or what's going to happen to the because all the battle pass characters are going to be gone. There's not going to be bosses. Like, what are they going to do? Like, are they
I
just
don't
going to be
know.
gone, abandoned? Like,
No, because we're in a world of pure speculation now, right? But we know that the season 3
Yeah.
teasers that have been leaked already include Meowscles art. Like they include
what?
Meowscles. Yeah, there's a couple pieces of art that have already been leaked that show sharks and boats floating on water or houses floating on water. Like the current reigning leaks from otherwise reputable leakers are that the whole map's going to be covered in water, and like there's going to be very little building. There's going to be swimming underwater. It's going to be mechanical sharks that you can drive. It's gonna, like, I don't know, dude. I have no clue. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows.
I know.
I don't want to talk about it because what I've seen terrifies me. What I've seen is like a low building map, like a map with very limited amount of building, and that terrifies me.
I mean, Fortnite's had a history of time skips after every season. Some a lot more extreme than others, but whenever they introduce a new mechanic or a new map mechanic, it's always been a slower skip until it halters, right? So when the desert got introduced, the map kind of stayed the same in the same genre. The snow got introduced, the jungle got buffed up a bit, and then when that all ended, there was nothing more to introduce on the map to play with. The map then went through these insane time skips of future apocalypse. Then we get crazy and drop in, these rift zones. Now we're back to that first moment of, okay, water introduced. Where can we go from here? Secret agent bases. What happens to bases once the beef happens in a movie? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the water rises, cool. The agents expand, dope. We got conglomerates, we got like big communities and sides. Talking lore, baby. Like we gonna rise. The agents gonna get cooler.
You guys are telling me we're gonna get a water temple and
dude, water level. It's gonna have its own
the whole
soundtrack.
map.
It's gonna be
The whole
crazy.
map.
It's gonna be impossible. That there's gonna be, I guarantee, a spot where the AIs are overtuned to 50 million, and there's gonna be a mythic RPG that never runs out of rockets. You heard it here first. That drops with a combat shotgun that never runs out of ammo. But you're gonna have to be the best player to get into that temple ever. It's gonna be hard. All right,
Balla, you brought this topic up, man.
We're gonna go straight to the gulag. It's gonna be sick.
I gave you a bone. I gave Shyo a bone with his lore.
Gave him the lore hook.
I'm chilling.
It gave me the game mechanics. Everybody's happy. All right, thanks so much, Shub, for bringing this topic. Make sure you check out his Sleeper or Slept On series on YouTube. I think it's some pretty cool content. Anyway, have a fantastic evening. Sleeper or Slept On, dude. This is a dope idea, right? Yep. Jay Thurkel, Sleeper or Slept On. Turns out they were slept on. Who would have thunk? Yep. Anyway, most people would have thunk. They weren't that slept on. Try
Tracks
harder,
and keys
Shub.
too, but you know, it happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunate timing, but hey.
It do feel like that sometimes.
All right, peace out. Have a fantastic evening.
Right,
Thanks
later,
for bringing
guys.
the topic.
Yep.
Bye.
Peace,
bye,
brother.
bye, bye, bye. All right, guys. Shyo, thanks so much for coming on the show. Last minute, I got the nerve up. I was like, all right, let's do. Actually, I decided to do Hotline FN this week. Like, my tweet announcing Hotline FM was literally like 10 minutes before Epic started tweeting all their stuff. So I felt pretty like clairvoyant, you know, ESP, extrasensory perception, all ahead of the curve there. You know where it's at. You need leaks? Come to me. It's happening. Anyway, all that to say, thanks, Shyo.
Yes, sir.
What are you gonna be up to in the coming weeks, man? And where can people find you getting up to it?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Shyowager doing a lot more interactive based streams. I'm talking tier list makers, Jackbox party games. Like, it's gonna be a nice personable vibe. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Fortnite casting up the first week of the FNCS Invitational.
So sick.
Sounds so dope. So I'm gonna be there. I think my boy Ball's gonna be there, and I'm gonna throw this back to you to throw it back to him.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Shyo, have a fantastic evening, and we will catch you later, I'm sure, on the hotline.
Yes, sir.
He's gone. Wow. Fancy. Balla, thank you so much for another excellent episode of Hotline FN. You crushed it as always. What will you be? Yeah, it's a little sway. It's a little like hype sway. What are you gonna be up to, man?
We didn't talk about this, but not LAN events. Yeah, that sucks. But now I'm gonna be casting on the Fortnite channel. Woo-hoo, let's go. Twitch.tv/Fortnite. Little plug. Got to throw them the exposure. You know, they don't have enough. So, yeah, that's gonna be Saturday, Sunday, and that's it.
That's it. Are we getting VOD reviews?
Nope.
Oh, all right. I mean, I don't mean to say that's it like a negative. Like, that's a lot. Like, casting is huge, right? But I mean, I just want as much Balla as I can get. You know what I'm saying? I think I speak for a lot of people. True.
Nope.
Oh, give me a little hype sway as I send you off here. See you later, Balla. Thanks for the great episode. All right, guys, that's been Hotline FN, episode 30th anniversary. If we go by episodes and not by years, it's fantastic. I got the guys over here dancing on the Zoom chat, exposed. Anyway, it's been a great episode. It's been a fantastic time. I want to end with the thing I always end with here on Hotline FN. Support the things you love, and in this case, that means follow twitch.tv/TIMMCD on Twitch. That means follow the channel on YouTube. That means follow Balla TW and Shyowager, and show love to everyone who had the nerve to call in with a take, prediction, an opinion. You know, it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of effort to say, like, hey, like, this is what I think. I want other people to like talk about it and rip it apart. That takes a bit of guts, you know, a little bit of something. So yeah, throw it back to them all, right? Next episode will be, I'm not sure when, you know, kind of taking it a little chill, you know. Next week, we'll see. You know, we'll see. Does next week deserve another hotline? I don't know. You tell me. Other than that, thanks for watching Hotline FN.